Amiga as a name, being the feminine Spanish for friend.
Okay.
And, of course, Agnes, Paula, and Denise, which I also vaguely remember had different names. If you could
Okay.
shed a little history there.
Okay. Anybody else interested in this? Okay. I wanted to be sure. You know, sometimes all of my previous talks, I've gone more into Amiga history than I did today. Amiga and the chip names. Amiga was dreamed up by Dave Morris and the investors. At first, the company was called High Toro, believe it or not. And I said, hey, that sounds like somebody bullfighting with a lawnmower. And you know, I think that's why it's not called High Toro today, is because that kind of wounded. I think that kind of wounded our president. But they changed the name at that point in time, and later on I asked him about it, and it seems that they wanted something that would resemble a friendly computer. Well, amic is the Latin root for friendliness. Amic, amicable is the Latin root for friendliness. But they wanted something short that sounded like Atari. So they took Amy and put G on the end of it. As near as I can tell, because when I questioned them, they said, no, we didn't know it was female for Spanish. Right. I said, well, you know, it means in the certain parts of the United States, it means more than girlfriend. It has other connotations in the Spanish language. And I said, you might lose a lot, then simply because it's Spanish, you might lose a lot of the market in the Southwest in places where there's the only people that would buy it are not the people of Spanish origin, but the people with money. You might lose a lot of that market with a Spanish name, and he said he didn't think so, and so that takes care of Amiga, I think, at least as much as I know of it. As far as the chip names are concerned, I did name those. Agnes, I wanted to have something, that chip handles all of the address generation for all of the DMA channels in the Amiga system. And address generation was its most important function. So I wanted something that would remind us all of that as we created this thing. So I wanted a word that began with AG for address generation. And I looked through the dictionary, and the first one I could find that was halfway decent was Agnes, and A-G-N-U-S, I think it's spelled. And it was defined as the Lamb of God. And I said, that's it, the Lamb of God. If anything is going to be, at that time it was one of the most intricate and large chips that were around. And the other names, the D names, I think there was a Daphne for a while and then a Denise. The D stands for data, display data. And Paula, Portia, those kind of names with a P were for ports and audio. Paula, ports and audio, because that was their function. And again, we'd try and take what was on, to name the chips, I would try and take what was on the chips with letter abbreviations for it and try and expand that if I could into a girl's name or some kind of name that would be easy to remember.